And hopping into the finals of the Chairs4Gaming week-long tournaments. $150 will go to the first place finish of this best of 7. $50, sadly, only to the second place player. Spawning here on the north side of Dashin Terminal, it's going to be the Red Terran, Speak Now, aka Byun, whose name I need to fix on the overlay.
And on the right side, it's Dashin Terminal. It's the blue Zerg, Hyun.
And pretend I did the camera so well. Okay, there we go. Yeah, nailed it. Lots of ways that I think that could have gone better for Hyun, obviously, but he still gave it a really strong showing, and I like that rather than tapping out, he decided to try and do his big baneling zergling all in. It's something that's not guaranteed to work at all, but it's a gamble that sometimes will catch Terran players off guard. It's not beyond and not in that instance. I will say, though, I think the biggest folly of that game was the complacency out of Hyun, though, thinking he was so much further ahead, thinking he had stopped the Reapers, and oh man, he's putting a lot of effort in stopping this one. Like, drones get pulled off the mineral line like crazy for this. Like, this is, I feel like this is tilt. This is what tilt feels like.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's gonna do anything else that he needs to hide. He only barely doesn't have enough mineral or gas for a baneling nest, and that's usually what you wouldn't want the Reaper to see at this early in the game. So he just. Yeah, he just plain overreacted. That was weird. I guess he was maybe thinking if he got the Reaper, he could counterattack. He does have 6 slings instead of just 4. I don't know, but that Reaper lives and is continuing to scout.
Out front on the backside, sorry, as I lost track of the Reapers. Checking to make sure we had everything fixed with the bot. Thought there was a problem with it. Always get a little paranoid when things start being delayed, but just want to make sure that our sponsor advertiser was still going off. Yeah, the thing is too, we've never, just prior to this event, we've never really had too big of a like, oh my god, Chairs4Gaming, and yet we've still had people being awesome. They've bought a couple of chairs, they've left reviews and nice words saying, hey, I came from Base Trade TV, and that of course makes them happy with us, and that makes us happy with you guys. But I'm hoping that this gets them a little more attention. Like, it's been a week-long tournament. Maybe you guys aren't going to buy a DX Racer right now. Fuck, maybe you aren't going to buy it in the next 6 months. But I do hope that at some point, if you do decide to buy a DX Racer, you'll think of Chairs4Gaming if you live in North America. Because they do it for cheap. And they support Base Trade TV and other channels, Nathanius amongst others. So really cool guys over there, working hard. And the thing I like about working with them is that they're not some big company, some big corporate, like, multi-million-dollar thing. They're like us. They're trying to build up from what they can out of esports. So, respect and a little bit of that, I know that feeling that kind of goes into it. It's your mom and pop shop DX Racer retailer.
You know, mom and pop with their gaming chairs.
Yeah. Come on in, sit in a comfy chair and enjoy your sody pop while you wait.
Oh, that'd be an amazing mom and pop store.
Actually,
I mean, really, that's just like a PC land with like.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
That would be amazing.
All right, Lever being a little bit annoying, a bit intrusive, but nothing too bad. Hyun keeping those drones well microed. Still droning up though. You know, for the way the game escalates a lot faster, we definitely see a lot less. And I'm not sure if this is just strictly through aggression or if it's through the fact that larva injects were killed a bit and all that, but we definitely see Zerg players, you know, hitting that 70, that 50 stride of drones a lot slower than the sort of HOTS version to it, and I like that because before it felt so silly. You'd watch some players who were just so good with their macro and, you know, obviously rewarded for it, but you'd see a game where there'd be like 70 drones out, you know, Snoot just sitting there happy on 3 bases, and there's nothing you could do as a Terran player to stop it. But I love that in Legacy of the Void you got the option of the Liberators, the more aggressive all-ins, that there just seems to be ways to stop this from getting too out of hand for Zerg. And keep in mind, before I was like, Rifkin, shut up with your anti-Zerg bias. I did bet on Hyun here for the finals, guys. I'm rooting for the Zerg on this one.
Yeah, obviously, our bets contribute to our bias in the cast.
Yeah, and I guess clarity, too. There's no, like, money bets. This is all our fake channel currency, the Partoofs. Before someone gets their panties in a knicker. I've bet real money on esports one time. It was Lucia versus Ragnarok. I lost the $15 I put in and said never again. And then we came out with Partoofs, so I could still get my gambling fix without the real money loss portion of it.
Amazing.
Although, I was telling Zombie about this earlier. My whole life, like, I've been pretty good at not getting caught up in gambling. You know what? This is a cool story, bro. We'll save that for a moment. Big drop coming here to the main. 2 medevacs going to be coming in, and the Liberator's going to actually completely clear the landing zone. Viking even on the ground, so this is a big attack out of Byun.
Yeah, very much so a surprise. Hyun dealt with this almost easily versus reality, but that was more of a frontal push where he had all of his units already in position. His banelings are only just done, and there's only 3 of them. Easily snipeable. Easily.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem with this. He almost had the means to defend it. That 1-1 did make the Lings do... The 1-1 made the Lings do surprisingly well versus the Marines, but it's not good enough. Oh, get the last shot on the Viking, please! No! There we go. Kills it, picks up, backs away, but the Queens are picked off. Now there's nothing really left to shoot up against that Liberator. Helling's moving from the south while this goes on. If all the Lings are in the main dying, there's nothing to stop them from frying up that third base. A couple Lings do get rerouted down here. More medevac drops come in, though. Hyun's starting to run out of steam, but the nice thing is if you have Lings on top of a drop, you're going to have a good time. But you can't get them on top of the drop due to the Liberator. It's a really interesting way to see this be utilized because we've not actually seen someone secure a landing zone with a Liberator before, but it's working.
Yeah, this is very abusive. Very awesome idea. Bailey doesn't get that Spore Crawler, and, believe it or not, that is really helping Hyun here, but just not enough. Hyun is taking, I think, way too much damage. I think he wanted to do a counterattack, potentially, but he still hasn't cleaned this up, so it's not going to happen.
I feel like between what happened in Game 1 with those Reapers and what's happened here now with the Liberator, Hyun is not going to be too happy of a place. We already saw him overreact to the Reaper at the start of this game. Now he's going to really feel the burn. All the Queens going down, every single Queen going down. His mining is not terrible, but it's also not good. And that's the worst part, because all the Queens going down means less injects, which means he might start floating these minerals he can't actually spend due to no larva. And 2-2s on the way for our Terran.
Yeah. Everything just lines up much better for Byun right here. Now, Hyun is basically, once again, at this point where you kind of have to all in. If you try and get a Spire right now, it's going to be so late that the attacks are going to continue. I mean, they're continuing right now. So, is there really a point to getting a Spire? You just going to have to try and defend the drops with whatever you can while trying to bust their own economy. But Hyun is constantly distracted by this. He has to deal with this.
Well, the Bentley's take out the Widow Mines at least, and that Liberator's so close to going down. But there's the multi-prong stuff kicking in. Medevac's still alive. Widow Mines aren't burrowed, so maybe this is manageable. Starts cleaning this up. Yeah, really not burrowing those Widow Mines at all. Meanwhile, I guess I'll give it to Hyun. He has swelled up a huge army supply, but it's through kind of inefficient units. It's the Lings. It's not the Banelings.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Hyun certainly has enough money and gas to make a ton of Banelings once again, but if you make too many Banelings, the Widow Mines get those good hits, you can't get the wrapper on the Marines to keep them in place, and the Banelings, while impressive in number, are fairly ineffective.
God, that is a lot of them, though. Army supply 71 to 36, and you would wish it was Hyun, what with this amount of Banelings he has, but goes for this round, catches a lot of the Marines.
That was pretty bad.
Despite evening up the army supply, is that enough to push through?
Oh, it's going to be focus fire on those Widow Mines. Instead unburrows them, not focus fire. But they soak up a couple of Banelings themselves. Oh, no reason. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, I'm starting to bust through.
With the SCVs. He needs to get into that production.
Is he starting to make this work? That's the big question.
Oh, it busted.
That's a lot of Lings flooding through underneath this. The 2-2 does kick in for Byun at just the right moment, so maybe this starts turning around to be a little bit better for him, but lots of the Marines have gone down. That Ling supply, camping their production, but looks like with the medevacs keeping everything alive, Hyun's just rallying them through, and they're not attacking, so this is going to be held. As gross and disgusting as the attack was, Hyun's not going to win the game with it.
His third base even had some, excess production too, so he wouldn't be entirely out of luck, but it was fairly important that he kept his units in medevacs for a lot of that time.
I tell you, there's a ton of players who lose this game to that Zerg counterattack. Byun keeping his units on the medevac must have been the hardest thing for him to do. It's like if he had unloaded them, they would have been killed before the production rounds kicked in. But all these wonderful things combined has started to clean this up. It's still messy and it's still not cleaned up yet, but this is desperate for Hyun. It's not Banelings being morphed in anymore. It's just a flood of these Lings. A couple more were made, but that's the last of his Banelings right here.
Last of their kind. And they all die.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, when you're designed to be a suicide unit, I can't imagine procreating is gonna be difficult. Reproducing more.
Ugh, reproducing banelings.
Like a banling humping another banling. Oops, I slipped. Boom, we're both dead.
Yeah. Dang.
That's not a race that's intended to get too far in the galaxy.
Hyun's trying to get that macro game set up behind this. At least Aspire would have probably tried to get upgrades too.
It's gonna die with this push though. If there was a lot more banlings, Hyun maybe pushes it back and buys more time, but the counterattacks are not even gonna be enough. GG. Map 2 gonna go to Byun.
Uh-oh.
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 Really? God, I hate being the only one home. I gotta go like round up all the cats now because I know they're outside. I can hear a bell jingling. Yeah, she's at the front door. So we're gonna play an ad break. I'm gonna go get my cat. We'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll be right back.